Mabuhay! We the Nobodies
The
podcast.
Nobodies.
The Nobody's Podcast.
We are gathered here today to discuss a hot issue in today's time. We will discuss our thoughts and ideas about the reopening of the face-to-face classes. But first, let's introduce ourselves to have a deeper connection with us hosts. My name is Alfonso Antonio V. Acebedo from Manila City, here in the Philippines. Let's call in our second host. Brad, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Bonard Dela Cruz. I am currently residing in Santa Mesa, Manila, Philippines. I like to play games, go outside, and watch and read some news about smart technologies. That's about it for me. How about you, Jabez? Can you take the floor?
Hi, I'm Jabez Antinero from Makati, Philippines. Currently living life as a senior high school student and just enjoying things that I love. That's for me. And can you introduce yourself, Ahmad?
Hi, I'm Ahmad Fauzie Umug from Manila City, Philippines. Currently studying as a senior high school and I'm aspiring to be a lawyer someday and welcome everyone.
Okay, now that we're done with the introductions, let's start with the topic at hand. But first, let's define what are face-to-face classes. Brad, can you give us a definition of face-to-face classes?
Yes, I can tell you all about face-to-face classes. According to Top Hat, face-to-face classes is the most traditional type of learning where course content are taught in person by the teacher to the students. The main takeaway here is the keyword live interaction because a teacher needs to physically interact with the students to teach them a lesson.
I see. How about you, Jabez and Ahmad? Maybe you have your own idea what face-to-face classes are.
Yes, I have my own idea. Actually, I just want to share that the face-to-face classes is also called F2F. So I just want to read an article from the web of Iowa State University's Center for Excellence in Learning and Teaching regarding to the topic of face-to-face classes. Face-to-face classes focuses on several elements, including lectures, capstones, team projects, labs, studios, and so on and so forth. So teaching is conducted synchronously in a physical learning environment utilizing appropriate safety measures, meaning that traditional students are in the same place simultaneously. So the keyword here is the learning environment, synchronous learning environment. Learning environment highly affects the habits of the student. For example, me as a student, I tend to study more to the place where I can see other students are studying, which is a school or a library or other places, let's say coffee shop or like that. Because you are more encouraged to study if someone you are encountering with is also studying. So if you're studying here if you're studying at your home, which is like more likely you're going to study by yourself, is kind of hard for me. But I do like the online class, but now. So yeah, that's for my opinion. And how about you guys? Yeah, do you guys have any memories or any experiences in face-to-face classes back then?
Oh, I have something to
Wants to
add
share?
to that. It
Yes,
said
Brad.
here that classroom can be an active learning environment. It means that it is not only by writing and listening to the teacher where you can take information, but it is taught by actively moving around, like dancing, by singing, by anything that requires movement. Right?
Yeah, do
That
you
is
remember yourself dancing or singing?
yes. I have experience learning up while singing. In what
school,
class?
right? Did you perform? Okay, I see. Thanks, Brad. How about you, Ahmad? Do you have any memories or experiences that you had in school?
Yeah, I had memories like if you can remember the Science Month, right? Oral Fest, speech choir, and
Mm,
of course we will not forget about the yearly foundation day or the foundation week.
yes,
That
Yes.
that of course we get to spend
we do have a lot of activities.
a lot of hard-earned money just to buy buy food on that day, and then the next day no, we'll have no money anymore. And I can remember
We just
also
wasted.
our pageants, right? Senior
Yep.
high school, grade 11 and grade 12 are competing with each other.
Intrams, yeah.
Yeah, in terms. So, yeah, that's what I remember in our class.
Thank you, Ahmad. Next na, sige, ikaw na yung papasok mo na agad. Course space.
Okay. In our face-to-face classes, we have different terminologies such as the course space. This is when class meetings occur at a specific time in one particular physical location, such as the schedule, right? When we start our school year, the admin of our school gives us a schedule which shows the time and the room that we will be attending to once the time period starts. And I can remember that whenever we get our schedule, uh, the schedule are extended up to 5 o'clock, which is of course too much for us, and we wanted to switch sections kasi yung iba, di ba,
Yep.
4 o'clock yung uwian or 3 o'clock, whereas yung iba,
Yep.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And hindi naman
Yeah, we try to switch places with other
hindi
students.
makatulungan
Back
kasi.
in grade 10, we had even classes at 7 o'clock, right?
7?
Yeah,
7 in some
Yeah.
section.
Oo.
Back in grade 10.
Yep. Kawawa.
Tapos wala nang
And-
teacher, di ba?
Yep, tapos may practice, right?
Yeah.
Inaabot ng gabi pa.
Tapos nagtatago pa sa guard. Di joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for the next terminology, we have discussions. Of course, obviously, discussion is wherein the instructor leads and facilitates the conversation by focusing within the limited amount of time. However, if that time runs out, the discussion will have to continue further as soon as the next schedule arrives. And
Yep.
the next one is we have exams and quizzes. And alam naman natin na kapag sa exam, if face-to-face ay medyo parang sobrang pressured.
Oo, tama.
May umiikot
Kailangan
eh.
aral. Tapos magkakasunod-sunod na
Oo,
exam,
may-
kada subject, di ba? Nagkakasunod-sunod.
Pero ang maganda doon is, I mean, kung hindi natin pag-uusapan yung legal sa illegal, maganda yung yung exam nung face-to-face natin kasi nakakapagtulungan tayo. I mean, kapag kunyari may kaya malaman yung kasama natin, tapos nagtanong, pwede natin sabihin. However, hindi naman yung sagot mismo yung binibigay natin, di ba?
The idea.
Tulungan mo lang.
Tapos maliban doon yung assignments, syempre, talking about assignments kapag face-to-face, syempre pressured ka din na kailangan mo ipasa ka agad kasi the teacher will push you to pass it on time or if not on time, before the time. Kasi kung hindi, kakausapin ka niya.
Ikaw
Kung
ba?
hindi, kakausapin niya yung magulang mo.
Have you experienced those kind of things? True to life, very experience.
Huwag sabihin. Hindi, joke lang ako. Syempre.
Based on
At naman
experience.
nasa tayo.
Nangyayari din naman na. Yeah.
Pero syempre it's part of student's life. Rason, Hindi, joke lang. Tapos, ang pagkakaiba niya siguro sa online class is in online class, we won't have the teacher won't be able to push us to pass our requirement on time or before the time. Pero syempre, nag-announce yung teacher na kailangan natin ipasa.
Yeah.
Mas less hassle kasi, di ba? Parang mas less pressure na naramdaman natin kapag
Pero
sa
choice pa rin naman yun ng students. Eh.
Oo.
Diba?
Tapos ang susunod naman natin is yung group work.
What about group
naman,
work?
Kapag online, medyo kasi, di ba? Ngayon, parang mahirap makipag-grupo sa kung sino-sino kasi kapag hindi natin kakaya, parang awkward, tapos baka hindi ka
mahirap.
ayos.
Mga new classmates.
Oo nga, hindi ko to sa face-to-face. Random eh. Ano, Jabez?
Random, no? Bilangan, no? 1, 2, 3, 4. Kung saan ka matapat, doon na talaga eh.
Tapos may iba pa, nakalipat ng upuan
diba? Mahirap kasi, lalo na ngayon, right? We experienced naman during our online just na, or this year na meron tayong new classmates, diba? Na hindi naman natin kilala. I mean, kilala but hindi close, right? So, yung pag F2F or face-to-face classes, we can tend to talk like meron tayong confidence na makausap sila kasi personal mong ma-interact, right? Kaysa ngayon na chat mo, mahirap pa, parang naiya ka pa kasi wala kayong first convo sa Facebook, di ba? Friends lang kayo, pero how to start your convo.
Awkward. Bigla mo.
Ano, Brad?
Ano,
Brad?
Bigla mo na lang sa chat.
Parang, di ba? Tapos babae pa yung parang naiya ka. So, ayun. Yeah.
Naiya ka ba,
so,
Brad?
Yun lang naman
babae?
yung mga group. Siyempre, kasi di tayo sanay mapag-usap ng gano'n.
Okay, so now that we know what face-to-face classes are, let's define our current setting on how the education system works right now. Anton, can you elaborate the topic further?
Okay.
Thank you.
Our education system uses online classes right now to our current situation, to the pandemic, right? And let's first define what is online classes. According to Top Hat, an online class is a course conducted over the internet. They're generally conducted through a learning management system. In our case, we use Google Classroom. That's our platform in how we pass our assignment, our tasks, and also the course outlines and everything. And also conducted online is how our fellow students and how our fellow teachers and students interact, which is Google Meet, right? We interact with each other through Google Meet. But the online classes are usually self-paced and allowing for greater flexibility in completing coursework. So it means that in online classes, we are given a flexible schedule. Do you think that's the case, Ahmad? Do you think that we are given enough time to accomplish our tasks?
I think yes, we are given enough time to accomplish our activities. However, as I said lately, we won't feel like we really need to accomplish the task given to us right away, unlike in face-to-face classes.
How about you, Brad? Is it beneficial for you to have a longer time to finish your task compared to back then in face-to-face classes where you have to pass it within the same period or as an assignment kinabukasan tomorrow? Is the given time where we're given 1 week beneficial for us?
Yes, absolutely yes. Honestly, we have more time to work with our assignments in online class. That is a fact. We cannot ignore it, right? Because we don't have to spend time preparing. We don't have to spend time transporting. That's why we have the flexible schedule that we are offered in online learning.
How
So
about,
yes, I
thank
agree.
you, Brad. How about you, Jabez? Is the time given for in our case we're usually given 1 week for a deadline. Do you think this is the right amount of time? Should it be longer or should it be shorter? What do you think, Jabez? What's the uh how long should a task take before we pass it?
For me, actually, it depends on the weight of the given task. But kasi usually, binibigay naman is mga written task or some other performance task, right? But yung, let's say, the research na subject, hindi siya naman by week lang naman na accomplish. But in terms of other subjects, yes, honestly, katulad nung sinabi ni Brad, we do have more than enough time to finish our task. Kasi it's just a time management that we should do for us to finish it on time. But the problem is we are more relaxed and more chill at home because like it is our home, right? So we feel home, we do things like just parang mamaya na habit or pa bukas na lang, 'di ba? Or
Yeah.
next time na lang. Kasi parang pagpapaliban mo. So you're gonna do other stuff, procrastinate. But the thing is, yes, I do tend to pass late tasks, but it is my own responsibility to cope up with some other tasks. Kasi the time given is 1 week without synchronous class na other than one time, right? Kasi one synchronous class naman per week kada subject. So the fact na you have 4 days or let's say kasama included yung Saturdays, Sundays, you have many days and many hours or times to to finish your given task, diba? So it's self time management and more, but we do have flexible time so we can adjust our schedule. So ayun lang naman. It's subjective sa kada person. So yeah.
Thank you, Jabez.
Makadagdag lang, Anton, no?
Okay.
Nakatulad nung sinabi ni Jabez, subjective yung schedule. Kasi we wouldn't know if yung iba nating kaklase is, let's say na,
Yung iba nagwo-work, 'di ba?
yung iba nag-work.
na nagwo-work
Yung iba
na,
talagang
right?
ginagawa. Marami.
Mhm.
Tapos malay mo may problema pa yung pamilya nila, ganito, ganyan.
Yeah.
Kaya nagiging rason para maging siguro late, ganun. Kaya
Yeah,
tama yung
totoo
sinabi
yan.
ni Jabez na subjective.
Talaga. Depende sa tao.
Yun lang.
Thank you, Ahmad. Now that we know the difference between face-to-face classes and online classes, let's start our discussion on the issue. The issue we have at hand is the reopening of the face-to-face classes. Let's start with the discussion with Brad's argument. Brad, what is your stand in this issue?
My stand is I support the reopening of face-to-face classes
And why you say so?
because we can learn the skills that we need. Face-to-face learning provides that, and online learning doesn't really provide that. So let's talk about online learning. Or let's continue talking about online learning, specifically the importance of online learning. Okay. So there are 3 important details that we have to remember. The first importance is that online learning takes less time. You do not need to wake up early. The time spent on daily routine and transportation, we can allocate that time sa tulog natin, sa paggagawa ng requirements. So, yun nga, yun yung dahilan kung bakit tayo merong flexible schedule dahil nabibigyan tayo ng mas maraming oras kumpara dun sa face-to-face. So, the second importance of online learning is that online learning takes less money or less cost because you do not need to spend money on transportation, sa baon, sa pagkain, makakatipid tayo doon dahil pwede tayo kumain sa bahay. Diba?
Yeah.
So, the third important thing is that online learning takes less energy.
Yeah.
Face-to-face learning takes a lot of energy for preparation of food, taking a bath, toothbrushing, or transportation. So, we spend those times in face-to-face classes. But in online learning, the energy spent can be saved, so it can be less stressful. It is for our mental health. But the importance of face-to-face learning, there are two things that we have to remember. The first importance of face-to-face learning is that face-to-face learning provides an immersive learning environment. Right? So, andyan yung school. Yung school yun eh.
Yeah.
Yun yung mismong learning environment.
Yeah. Iba talaga yung ano.
Sabi mo, di ba, yung tahol ng aso, di ba?
Oo, dito sa bahay.
Yung ingay ng mga pusiyan ng kotse.
Dada.
Di ba naririnig natin yun? Pero dahil nga sa face-to-face learning, dahil sa face-to-face learning, hindi natin naririnig yun.
I mean, pwede natin
Nawawala
marinig
sa
yun,
pandemic.
diba? Kasi depende sa lugar ng school. Pero, nandun pa rin yung focus mo sa pag-aaral kasi nasa room ka, diba? Enclosed ka ng kasama yung mga students.
Mas malakas yung focus mo dun sa studies. So, yun nga, focus ka sa learning, mas concentrated ka dun sa pag-aaral. Importance of face-to-face learning is that face-to-face learning is provide physical interaction. Yung pinakamahalaga sa face-to-face learning. Dahil dyan natin nakukuha yung skill. Pag walang physical interaction, hindi tayo makakuha ng skill. Yes, pwede tayo makakuha ng information, pero yung skill, I doubt it. Kunwari, hindi tayo pwede maging chef kung nasa bahay lang tayo. Hindi ma-judge ng teacher yung pagkain natin kung nandun siya sa kabilang lugar, di ba?
Oo, hindi niya matitikman.
Hindi tayo practice yung
Pwede naman, padala sa ano.
Email
Padala
na
sa ano. Hindi, kunwari, Grab, food banda, gano'n.
Alam mo ba?
Matagal. Pero,
mawawala yung quality ng food. Minsan.
hindi natin ma-practice yung pagiging doktor, pagiging nurse kung online learning lang, di ba?
Isipin mo, surgeon ka, diba? Tapos, practice ka, diba? Mag-iiwa or mag-opera. Natutunan mo lang online. Pag nandun ka na sa tao, diba? May yeah.
Pagdating sa real world, wala na. Parang tameme ka na sa real.
Maninibago ka eh.
Yung future ng student, hindi natin makikita. Yun lang. Okay. Yun yung importansya ng face-to-face physical interaction. So, that is the reason why I stand the reopening of face-to-face learning because of physical interaction, the things that we can learn and the skills that we can acquire. So, there's that. So, Ahmad.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
So, that despite of the face-to-face classes, still to enjoy being with our friends or meeting other people. The fact that staying home for a long period of time while doing classes makes us bored. And it also makes you unproductive kasi di ba nga kapag nasa bahay ka lang, di ka makakapag, let's say, exercise or di ka makakalakad-lakad na ako, personally, parang mas nagigising ako kapag kunyari nakapag-exercise o naglalakad-lakad. Tapos kapag may araw, ganun. Para mas maging productive.
Tsaka noon kasi diba,
however,
fix yung tawag doon, yung body clock mo. Kasi parang kung nagising ka lagi maaga kasi babiyahe ka pa, diba? Sanay ka na. Ngayon, inconsistent kasi, diba?
Kailangan mo talaga i-push dati.
Sleep schedule tayo.
Mm-hmm.
Oo. Diba?
Sanay na.
Yun. Ngayon, madaling araw ka na, gising ka pa, diba?
Tapos, having activities and different events with your classmates in school will help you learn from both the activity and the experience. Kasi 'di ba katulad mo nung kasabihan na ano, experience is the best teacher. Kung tama.
Yeah, tama.
Tapos, kasi kapag gunyari katulad yung sinabi ni Brad na kapag
Puro
online ka lang,
information lang, di ba?
oo, yun lang natutunan mo. Mahirap kapag nasa totoong mundo ka na. Paano mo ma-apply? Kasi magugulat ka, iba pala yung sa online, sa real world. Sabi mo,
Oo.
asan yung pindutan dito? Wala ba? Hindi
Asan
pala
yung
sila.
scalpel? Iwan. Tama.
So, ayun, kaya I stand on...
Parang more on stuck lang na information overload lang.
Oo nga.
Kasi puro information, dumadaloy lang. Tapos parang nasa utak mo lang. Alam mo lang siya, pero hindi mo siya kayang gawin. Parang gano'n.
Exactly.
Mm-mm. Pero iba na, depende course mo kung or workplace mo gagawin. IT ka, diba? Or grammar ka. Kaya naman kahit nasa bahay ka lang or kahit nasa isang, diba? Kasi more on programming sila. So, actually kasi
Yung alam, di ba gusto mo maging lawyer, Ahmad?
Ay, oo, yan.
Pwede
mga ganyan.
Hindi naman
Pwede.
kasi parang
Yan, pwede ako kasi.
Magsasalita.
Natin yung mga hands-on work like yung mismong dahil pandemic kasi yung mga doctors, yung nurse, frontliners. Diba?
Yung ginagawa ng
yung manual labor talaga. Yeah, totoo. True.
Lalo na yung mga...
So, ikaw, Jabez, anong stand mo?
Wait lang, si Anton muna. Yes, Anton?
Sige,
further
Anton.
add yung kay Ahmad. Yeah, lalo na yung mga courses na kailangan mga life nakasalalay yung lives ng mga tao. For example, pilot, di ba?
Yeah.
Kailangan talaga hands-on yun.
Hindi lang naman pwede yung simulation lang. Stuck ka na sa simulation, di ba? Kasi pwede kang mag-aaral simulation pero iba pa rin sa real world.
Yeah, sa real world. Kasi kailangan talaga real world training kapag when we're talking about jobs that involves the lives of people.
Let's say kahit nga yung agricultural kasi agriculture country tayo, 'di ba? Na nagiging industrialized na, pero farming minamalit na ibang time farming, pero sa atin important ang farming kasi yan yung kabuhayan ng mga tao sa Philippines, 'di ba? Isipin mo magpa-farm ka online. 'Di ba? Anong natutunan mo, 'di ba? Magtanim ay di biro nga magapong nakayuko tas online ka lang na pa-farming. Ayun lang ba? So yeah, so my opinion naman is, yes, I do love face-to-face classes. I really love the experiences. I remember back then yung mga magbubuti hanggang sa mga kalokohan natin nagawa. Of course, meron yan, di ba? Kasi estudyante tayo, yan yung life natin. Meron naman kahit pa. But then, now that we are in the midst of pandemic, currently we are, adjusting to the situation and helping ourselves to be safer or to be safe sa nangyayari ngayon. So, my stand would be with online classes because we are not the country na highly advanced sa technologies and other equipments about medicines and other structures of jobs. So we are not rich. We are rich in like other elements or like minerals ganyan, 'di ba? Pero aspects, 'di ba, sa economy natin. Kaso ang hirap lang kasi sa Philippines now is yung meron din corruption about sa government, pero nakakahirap kasi yung pag-affect nun sa vaccination, right? So marami tayong vaccines But then, onti lang yung na-distribute within our country, which is tayo, students, we are more likely to be, tawag dito,
More
yung
prone.
magiging at risk. Yeah, more prone pag nag-class. Kasi we do have these safety precautions na say social distancing, but if we look at our classes or our classroom, some classrooms are like, are in a small place, and then we don't have enough space to have a social distancing while studying face to face, right? But
Yeah.
just having these pandemic situations with our country, it's really difficult for us to recover somehow about studying face to face. So online classes, I just want to identify some topics like what Brad said about the importance of online class. Like first is the flexible schedule or the flexible time of the students. We do have to adjust our schedules based on our own schedules and own time. So if we want to submit this task earlier or on time or maybe later, is it depends on the person on his or her availability. And next is the lower cost for the students or the parents of the students. Why? Because we don't have enough, like, most of us, we don't have enough money to provide for the transportation of the students. Kaya nga yung iba, diba, we live under scholarship and all that stuff. But the point is, we tend to spend less, and we do save more now because of not going to school from house and not going from school to house. And hindi na tayo masyado nakakagait, diba, yung mga impromptu na biglaang gala, diba?
Biglaan lang.
Kasi usually, diba, pag Friday tayo, kasi pag
Maaga
Friday
uwi
parang maaga uwi yan, diba? Tapos syempre gala na yan kasi Friday,
Walang
parang
pasok
tapos na yung
kinabukasan,
paghihirap mo within the week. Yeah, totoo yan. So yun, yung cost na ang pag-aaral is mahirap talaga, pati yung ibang miscellaneous. Ngayon kasi ang mas less kasi yung binabayaran natin na, let's say, yung mobile data usage or wifi, kasi some other houses provided ng magulang. Then yung pagkain mo is provided ng magulang na sabay-sabay kayong kakain. Unlike noon na bibigyan ka pa baon, then balak kumain or order kung wala kang baon, right? Then ngayon is yung iba naman provided ng government yung sa ating connection sa wifi, 'di ba? May mga ganon, or meron ding tinatawag na sa atin SAP, 'di ba? Student Affiliation Program. So yun, may yung iba meron nabibigyan. Then lastly is yung topic about yung ito naman yung self-discipline and responsibility ng student. Why? Kasi depende pa rin talaga sa tao. Kasi magkakaiba tayo, right? Responsibility mo noon kaysa ngayon. Noon kasi you are tend to study lang talaga. Kasi sa school ka diba? Wala ka ibang stuff na masyadong distraction. Unlike sa bahay, marami kang pwedeng gawin kasi di ka naman masyadong bantay ng teacher mo, diba? Walang laging klase, like one synchronous class for every subject in a week. So, ang problem lang talaga dito sa online class is yung time management, but it depends on the person. So, ako personally, natuto akong magkaroon ng self-discipline and responsibility about the task that was given to me. But I tend to pass some tasks later on kasi meron akong ibang ginagawa, like priorities. Pero, ayun, wawalan lang, hindi lang nabibigyan ng priority yung pag-aaral talaga. But then, kasi yung iba, diba, may mga trabaho na, kasi tayo, graduating na tayo, legal age, so pwede, yung iba na-accept na kagad sa trabaho. So yun lang naman yung advantage or benefits of studying online class. So that's why, ngayon, mas safe tayo sa online class at hindi tayo nakakapagbigay ng risk sa ibang tao at sa family natin. That's all for my opinion. And lastly, si Anton, can you share us with your opinion?
Okay, thank you, Jabez, for your stand. For me, there are two main reasons why we cannot reopen face-to-face classes at this early stage. I am against the reopening of the face-to-face classes because of two main reasons: slow national vaccination rate and the nature of how face-to-face
True.
classes is conducted, right? So
True yan.
but first let me ask you guys, Ahmad, are you vaccinated now?
No, I'm not. Pero
Ay.
yung isa kong kuya, siya lang yung vaccinated sa amin.
Right. Brad, are you vaccinated?
Me, I am not vaccinated, but my parents are already vaccinated.
Okay, thank you. Jabez, are you vaccinated?
I am not yet vaccinated, but my mom is already been vaccinated.
Okay, thank you, Jabez. For me, for myself, I'm not also vaccinated. But vaccination is the most important way for us to protect ourselves from the coronavirus, right? And
Yeah.
vaccination is important because it says that according to a web article published by the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention regarding the COVID-19 in children and teens, some children are still susceptible in getting severely ill from COVID-19. They further added that they may require hospitalization and in even rare cases, even death. So,
True
we're
yan.
talking about
We do
reopening of classes. That includes, if we're talking about all of the classes, we're talking about even elementary or kindergarten, right? Mga bata. So, we're putting the most vulnerable at risk.
Most
also.
vulnerable.
Yeah. Also, we cannot reopen face-to-face classes due to the nature of how face-to-face classes is traditionally conducted. So, face-to-face classes, we gather in one classroom, right? We're in public high school. Ahmad, how many are you in your section? In one classroom?
40? 42?
40, 42. How about you, Brad?
Yeah, I think the average is nasa 40, no?
How about you,
Oo,
Brad? How
kada
many
section.
are you in your room? Your mic.
Please
is on,
unmute
Brad.
yourself, bro.
Many are in?
How many are you in the classroom?
Around 40,
Yeah,
I
40.
guess.
How about you, Jabez?
I think 40. The average, I think, for us is 40. But I remember back then when I was in elementary, our average was around 50. So imagine that the smaller ones or these kids are the most are one of the vulnerable or most vulnerable of this pandemic, and they have the most amount of students at the same room at the same time. Diba? Kasi mas maraming bata, no?
So guys, this is no different from mass gathering, right? Mass gathering, it's one of the main causes why the pandemic spreads, right? So face-to-face classes is not probable. It's not good to conduct because it's on the way because of how it is conducted, right?
Yeah.
So, therefore, in my stand, it is clear that online classes is far more safer option than face-to-face classes at our current situation because it can deliver education without risking our safety as students and also to our educators as well. So, I have a question to you, Ahmad. Do you think do you think if you are going to if we are to reopening face-to-face classes, will you attend face-to-face classes?
I mean, of course, it depends. When we talk about safety protocols, uh, I think if our school uh, will not provide enough spaces for us to perform the social distancing or the physical distancing,
Mm-mm.
I think it would be how
Even
do I
though
say?
you're
Difficult for us.
even th-
Yes, it will be difficult
even
for
if
us to attend.
even if you're not vaccinated, are you willing to go to face-to-face classes?
I think I will go to the school unless there is a real threat for me kasi for example hindi ako magsusot ng face shield or face mask, let's say face mask hindi ako magsusot. Siyempre hindi talaga ako pupunta kasi mas mataas yung probability na mahawakan ako ng COVID-19 kaysa kapag naka-face mask. So kapag naka-face mask ako and proper safety protocols, naka-face mask, face shield, siguro pupunta
Yeah.
ako. Pero of course with caution pa rin.
Thank you, Ahmad.
Yeah, with safety precautions naman.
Thank you, Jabez, for that answer. So, how about you, Brad? I have a question. The government says that it will implement um, health minimum protocols. They will implement this to ensure the safety of the students when these classes will be reopened. Are you convinced with this, Brad?
Yes, I am convinced that the minimum health protocol standard is enough to reopen the face-to-face classes. Because what's at stake here is the future of the student, also the family of the student as well. Because we have to cultivate the skill of the students in order to for the betterment of the Philippines as well.
Okay, Brad, thank you for your answer. Okay, that concludes our podcast regarding the issue of the opening of online classes. I hope you listeners have learned something from our discussion. Stay safe and thank you for listening and have a nice day. Jabez, any closing remarks?
Yes, Anton. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. And we do want to clarify that these are all of our opinions, and you may comment down below your opinions as well. So thank you guys for listening. See you next time to our next podcast. We are the
We
We
the
the
Nobody's
Nobody's
Podcast.
podcast.